Namaskar. We were one of the first websites to predict that there is a lot of churn in China. In fact, churn might be an understatement. We predicted that Xi Jinping was under house arrest. Now, 48 hours have elapsed. The entire internet, plus now mainstream media, is abuzz with speculation as to what is happening in China. To give us an update and to help you connect the dots, we have, as always, Elmer Yuen. Elmer, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you for inviting me. I think it's time to do an update on what's happening in China, because this is really, in the coming 2-3 weeks, they are going to have their 20th plenary session, meaning they are going to elect their next term, very much like the US election, general election. So what happened is Xi Jinping came back from Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan, Samarkand, yes.
Yeah, and Samarkand is the capital. He came back in a rush. He did not attend the banquet with the Shanghai Cooperation Group, which is very rare, because if it used the word Shanghai, meaning they are the organizer of this whole group. And this is a very important group. The long term, this is the group supposed to go against the NATO. All right, long term, in the long term, this up against. So he missed out on the dinner, which is very important in every event. Dinner, it shows how well you conclude the whole meeting. All right, no speech, no dinner, and it left what's the name of the Turkish Prime Minister? Erdogan really took over the host, to be the host. And so actually he had a good gain, because every country more or less is somehow have a Turkish kind of culture. So he was the Turkish, pan-Turkish leader. But anyway, since Xi Jinping came back to Beijing, no appearance yet. He may appear this week. The rumor is he may appear. This is almost 10 days. Over 10 days. It's not a joke. It's a very critical moment. There's huge rumor going on about the coup, about him under house arrest. There is no proof, all right? I have my theory, which I spoke last time. Yes. So there's really two schools of opinion. One is a belief in the coup, and one believe that it's a rumor. So I'm sure you've heard the same. So I'd like to give you an update, because everybody is very concerned. Today, the real crisis is not in Ukraine. The real crisis is between China and Taiwan, in that area, because all the military, huge buildup of military and a lot of news. So the latest I got is he was to accompany back to his home, and so far they were negotiating, all right, his opposition. And he has so many oppositions, because all he did, which he can claim credit, was the anti-corruption in the first few years. And even the anti-corruption, those people he caught were selective. He basically arrested all his political rivalries. And then 100%, the communist officials are 100% corrupted. So you can pick anybody, you will win. So he basically picked those people who's not with him to, and more than a few million Communist Party member has lost their whatever position and so on. Few million, because altogether there are 96 million Communist Party members, up by 2 million. Used to be 94. So, but anyway, his opposition was huge, and his supporter, let's say 10-1. All right, his supporter is only 10% of the total Communist Party group. So everybody have some kind of a reason to take him down, and then they pressurize him. So there will have been a lot of negotiation going on in the last 10 days. And this is the rumor. Everything we hear is rumor. So I'm not a gambler. So I'm not, it doesn't matter if I put my reputation, but the believers and the non-believers are all speculators. Let's be honest. Nobody has, even those people in Beijing don't have the absolute evidence going on. This is what's happening to most of these communist countries, because they are in, everything is operating in a black box. Everybody speculate, And it would take 30 or 40 years to find out exactly what happened to the Cultural Revolution, to the Great Leap Forward, how many people died. Even today, it's not clear. I would say today, the historian can tell you maybe 50, 60%. All right, under communist regime, under democratic regime, it's easy. Finally everything come out. So anyway, what we have learned is they've cornered him at his home and has been negotiating last 10 days. In fact, they already negotiated for 18 days during the 𝗣𝙬𝙤 summer holiday, and there was no conclusion. So still, this last 10 days, I heard he is abandoning his foreign policy altogether, meaning he's pro-Russia. All the communist Chinese, even every Chinese, hates the Russian, because Russian, as you know, took away more than 1.5 million square kilometer of land in the northeast and the northwest of China. And originally Mongolia, as we all know, used to be part of China. So the whole Mongolia went independent under Soviet encouragement. I'm not a imperialist. For me, the country is bigger or smaller, it doesn't matter. It's the freedom that counts, right? But for the most communists or for the local mainland Chinese, they consider territorial integrity and the size of their country. This is the communists have brainwashed them to see how great your country is, how big is your land. Same thing in Russia, right? The Russian people most of the reason they support their leader is because they've been expanding since Catherine the Great, and then Peter, Saint Peter, and so on. I mean, the Russian hero are the people who expand. So same thing. But for us who believe in freedom, we think the quality is important, much more than the quantity. So anyway, going back to that, so he has totally given up his foreign policy. If you follow the foreign minister, Mr. Wang Yi, in UN and also in New York, he's been trying to talk to Kissinger, try to get Kissinger to mediate between China and US, because the relationship is already in Cold War. And even hot war can happen anytime. So he's trying to get back to Kissinger. Kissinger has been receiving $10 million a year. All right. So he's always been supported. He's pro-China. So they are trying to get a 90-year-old guy to media. Sorry. Go ahead.
Are you going on record to say that Kissinger gets 10 million a year from China?
No question. I got the information from Beijing. Every year. Not gets 10 million every year. And he has a think tank, all right. And think tank is the biggest thing in the world.
You and I should start a think tank.
Yeah, we must start a think tank also. Otherwise, we'll all get poor. So anyway, he went to Kissinger and he had meetings with the Russian foreign minister. What's his name? Sorry, I'm not good with Russian name. The Russian foreign minister. Never. Nobody wants to talk to him. So Wang Yi is the only person who is willing to meet with him. All right, he's totally isolated. He was lucky he got a visa to enter New York. In the beginning, they wouldn't even allow the whole group to have a visa. So anyway, the Russians were in total isolation, especially after Putin has threatened nuclear weapon again. But Wang Yi is trying to get back into grace with the Western world, and also he's trying to pretend he is capable of helping to negotiate a peace settlement in Ukraine, which is the biggest joke, because without Xi Jinping backing Putin, that war would never happen. They are the main co-conspirator or the co-founder of that war. He is without Xi Jinping, Putin would not do it. Putin think he is going to do a two-front scheme, and then Xi Jinping chickened out because of his background. Go ahead. Yes.
Would you say that Xi Jinping sold Putin down the river?
Yes and no, because anyway, it was a promise to do together, and he didn't do it. That's the reality.
Right.
The reason is
Okay.
the Chinese, the other leaders in the standing Politburo refused to do it. The whole Chinese Communist Party refused to help Putin. It costs a lot of money to help him every day. I mean, if the Ukrainians are spending almost $100 million a day, the Russians are spending more because they don't have targets. Their weapons are not accurate, so they have to fire 5 times as much, sometimes 10 times as much, and they don't even reach the target. So, which in turn, of course, they destroy a lot of civilian buildings.
Civilian
So,
buildings. Right.
okay,
Right.
so there is a complete change of policy. I'm sure. I mean, India, your frontier thing, they would never give you any trouble. They are going to go from we call them a war wolf, the Chinese word for the Chinese for these Chinese war wolf, fighting wolves. Now they become sheep. Suddenly turn
Okay.
into in UN. So there's huge change of policy, and they've been urged to make peace with US, and even in Hong Kong, we've been receiving message of tuning everything down. All right, money come first. They are bankrupted. They need to rebuild their economy. There's no question. Hong Kong has 70% of their foreign currency income. Now Hong Kong has become nothing. All right, we are no longer a financial capital
Powerhouse.
market
Powerhouse. Powerhouse. Yeah.
powerhouse. Our airport used to be #1, now it's below number 10. And then our port facility and the goods coming in and out, suddenly we lost everything to Singapore and also to other countries. And
A
it's
lot of
hopeless.
banks migrated. A lot of banks migrated out
All
of
the
Hong
banks
Kong and moved into
migrated,
Singapore.
investment bankers are all leaving. And a lot of Chinese, even still some Chinese living there, but all their money is no longer there. And so over 370,000, which is like more than 5%, almost 6% of the people have left. And all the foreigners, you cannot even keep count of them because they come and go. All the foreign headquarters, half of them have already left. So Hong Kong is a hopeless case. Even if the Chinese apologize and remove the national security law, you are not going to see any recovery until they totally change, until they get out of Hong Kong. The communists must get out of Hong Kong for the investors to regain their confidence. The reason Hong Kong is so good because we have the British law. All right, we exercise the common British law with very independent judiciary. So all the hot money all over the world came to Hong Kong to be
Because
in
of
our
that.
market
Yes. Yeah.
and the bond market and so on. So suddenly now all that confidence is lost. But going back to China, Xi Jinping, basically all his foreign policy finished, including with India. You can rest assured. So there's no chance of any war, and including Taiwan, because Biden gave them the message: if you invade Taiwan, American soldiers will be in Taiwan. And then the question while they were talking in the last 10 days, they questioned Xi Jinping. They asked him, "Are you able to win a war with USA? Never mind Japan and Taiwan. Are you able to win a war?" So I mean, the answer is obvious, right? I mean, in the Ukraine, the Americans have not even not one soldier is really involved in the fighting yet. They already, I mean, the Russians are on the run. So the reality is he has backed down in military, in foreign affairs, and also in economics, meaning that they are going to open up economy, even going back to a lot of self-employment, private enterprises, because he was actually driving all the business into the state companies, all right, and making it a planned economy. So right now we have seen many policy change in the last few days about Shanghai allowing hawkers on the street. I mean, hawker is not it's very important for people to start from hawker to small business to medium business. It's the entry point. If you don't allow people to go to grade 1, there will be no education at all. So anyway, that's been allowed, and the whole Sichuan province, which is the most populated province, in China, over 100 million people population. The head of that one went to Deng Xiaoping's birthplace and then start talking about must go back to development and opening up of China. So there's a whole change of direction going on. So we believe he will come. He is only stripped of his foreign and military power. So he is still officially the party secretary and the head of the state. So he will come out and be the chairman of the plenary of the 20th Communist plenary, and then elect the next plate. He prepared for the first list of the participant of the thing, but it's subject to a review. The list of people who participate in this 20th plenary, about 2,000 some Communist Party members who are holding position, and the list have come out, and he's one of them. All right, and the lists have come out, and but this is still subject to the other group rescuing. Still had the right. He's still the head of the party, general party secretary. So he produced the list, and then it's subject to review, and then he will come out and host the meetings from the 10th of October to the 16th of October. So we are going to see him appear, and see still, of course, his people are all under arrest. All the group came back from Uzbekistan are under house arrest. They are not being seen in the public, except Wang Yi in the United Nations, which he has to go because and we have to have a representative. We are the permanent member. But honestly, talking about UN, I really feel that this is a chance. I think UN is talking about kicking out Russian and reorganizing the Security Council. I think, unfortunately, Japan is a very, very likely candidate. And I think India may not be, because I believe that in the last 6 months, there's been a little bit of, of course, you made a lot of money from your oil, but on the other hand,
not the people, Elmer, not the people. Some companies did, yes.
So what happened is it's a very bad sign that you can be compromised. All right, this is the time. Principle is most important. You have to stand with the right side, and
Right.
that kind of making that small money, maybe a few $100 billion, looks very big to those companies, but to a big country like India, it's little money. It's nothing.
Absolutely.
You have your if you gain a seat in a permanent Security Council seat, that makes a huge difference. You are a different country. You're really in with the big boys. Right now, unfortunately, you're still an outsider.
So India is trying to make both sides happy, and you can never make both sides happy in such cases. We'll have to wait and see. But last question for you. I have been also reading that Li Keqiang is also going to retire come this session. Is that true?
He is going to retire as the prime minister, all right? Because you're not allowed to be over 2 terms. But he has every right. There's rumor, of course, and every rumor is your group is going to retire, and then the other side will talk back. This is part of the communist way of fighting. All right. They even say that they invited the German and the French head of state to visit China in November, meaning after the plenary, meaning that Xi Jinping would win. They come out with all kinds of things for this is part of the political fight, which is reasonable. And right now, Li Keqiang definitely will not be the next prime minister, but he has a shot being the next party secretary, which is Xi Jinping's position. Right? And he has a shot, and it depends. The outcome nobody knows. And right now, we believe there may be enough votes in the Central Committee and also in the Politburo to put Li Keqiang in that position. The two sides are fighting. We are not gamblers, all right? We are only commentators. So we will tell both sides of the stories. And of course, we have personal preference. All right, we prefer to see Li Keqiang go, but in fact, my personal preference is they keep fighting until the end of communism. All right, this is my preference. Some people prefer Xi Jinping, some people prefer Li Keqiang. They are fighting, but my preference is don't stop. All right, that's my preference. Okay, this is my answer to you.
So, sometimes you can read the tea leaves better by looking at all the other things happening around you. For instance, right up in the dailies in China about Xi Jinping. If they have gone up, there's one way to look at it. If they've gone down, there's another way to look at it. What has been the last 10 days? How are the dailies protecting Xi Jinping, our great leader, Xi Jinping?
Very little, very little. All right. And they always say the party, they put the party first and then Xi Jinping next. Before, they always put Xi Jinping and do not mention about the party. So really, the party people, his opposition wants to use the word party, everything organized by the party. But Xi Jinping wants to you say he is the organizer. So right now, I would say 9-1. If you read the newspaper in the last 10 days, 9 article to 1 article. 9 article pro-party and 1 article pro-Xi Jinping. It's really he's fighting the party. And I hope they keep on fighting and kill each other.
Thank you very much, Elmer. And according to the best of your knowledge, the flights are still disrupted to China?
Oh, 6,000 flights were canceled daily. I mean, the last, and it's very serious. And then also, there are a lot of military vehicles in Beijing, the capital city, which is very rare. They are not allowed to enter Beijing because they are afraid of coup. And but in the last year, lots of military also lined up to enter into Beijing. So they are preparing to fight just in the worst case. So it's not stable. That country is very unstable.
So I guess during negotiations, they'll be showing live cameras of all these things. Okay, you remember the street, and then show it on the map, and then say, this is the real situation. Here's what it is. Here's what you better agree. I mean, this is like a hostage, right?
Yeah, we are, unfortunately, China has a firewall. And also they have their cyber security officials is so huge. They have the biggest cyber security force. Any word mention of any word get deleted from the WeChat immediately. So sometimes they appear for a few seconds and people try to download it or copy it, screenshot it. But it is under strict security. And we have to use all kind of nicknames. For Xi Jinping, we call him the class monitor, right? to avoid being censored. So everybody has some kind of a nickname, and the nickname has to change every day. They update it. The whole country is really a terrible mood. Nobody cares about industry. Economy is in deep shit. And even they say growth. Let me tell you, they have a 25% drop in GDP. But they lie, they have a 3% gain. And then I think all these foreign investment bankers are willing to lie with them. 25% drop in GDP. Trust me, this year.
Wow. So we'll wait and see how things play out, but we are seeing definitely sort of a decision time coming up, a decision point coming up. So viewers, it is up to you. You have to make the decision as to what is happening in China.
Exactly.
Elmer has laid out all the data in front of you, and some things, some data.
And you have to read more.
Yes, you have to read more.
Yeah, but the major media are not good. Like CNN, they are afraid to talk because they would be removed from China. So all the major media, CNBC, what do you call
CNN, Fox.
Yeah, and then the major money start with a B.
Bloomberg says that it's going to go on.
Bloomberg's income, 1/3 of their income come from China.
So in fact, Bloomberg is taking a pro-Xi stand today. There was some article that said more pro-Xi stand. But again, this is under paywall, so I couldn't go and read behind it. Anyway, so this is something that is, these are going to change day by day. People will change their stance.
Sure.
This is where things stand today. Thank you very much, Elmer. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'll update you soon. Bye-bye.